morning, everyone. I'm Verna from stampinnotes.com, and I have my special stamp of the week feature, and it features the Sunny Sentiments from the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. I love these. I love them because they're large, and you can use them for so many different things. Just a thinking of you. Happy hello, I've been out of touch. And hoping your birthday is filled with all the best things, and a thank you sentiment. What's really great about these is that they are large, and it makes it so easy to use, and to use them with just designer series paper. So I want to show you today how I've used them with designer series paper, and I'm using the Peach designer series paper. It's called You're a Peach, and actually it's on sale right now, and it's 15% off until August 2nd. It's a gorgeous paper. It's summery, it's bright, and as you know, all of our designer series paper is double-sided. These are great because they're large enough to cut out, and I will show you today how I did that. And then the back sides are usually more muted, subtle patterns and not as showy, but they're just beautiful too. The colors that coordinate with this paper are always on the back of your designer series paper package. Balmy Blue, Bumblebee, Calypso Coral, Early Espresso, Mango Melody, Pale Papaya, Pear Pizzazz, Petal Pink, and Whisper White. And if you're not familiar with Stampin' Up! Products, what's wonderful about, well, one of the things that's wonderful about Stampin' Up! Products is that all of their cardstock, their paper, their inks, they all coordinate, and it makes it so easy to use and to make nice cards with. So the first card we're going to start with is this card right here, and it features the sentiment, thought you could use some sunny thoughts today. And then you open it, and I've just done a little stamping. This stamp set is in the Peach, Sweet as a Peach stamp set. I'll show you that one. The only thing I've used from this stamp set are like the floral things, because I'm using the sentiments from the Sunny Sentiments stamp set. This is our annual catalog, and it is on page 38 here, and it is only $20 for this stamp set. If you decide to place an order this week in my online store, this is the host code here. Let me move my camera up a little bit so you can see it. And you can either go to my blog at stampinnotes.com and shop there, or you can go to vernastamps.stampinup.net. This will take you there. And at the end of the checkout, you would put in this host code. If your order is $50 or more before tax and shipping, then I will send you free the beautiful Genial Gems. It's an $8 value. And these are those gems right here. They're faceted gems, and they have a self-adhesive backing. They're beautiful. I will also, if you would rather I place your order or help you, you can email me at vernastamps@gmail.com, and I would be glad to help you with your order. And I will be placing an order Thursday. Today is Monday, the 26th, so Thursday would be the 29th. All right, so let's get started with this card. And also I will post the measurements and supplies for these cards below. If you sign up for my newsletter, I will send you a free PDF for these cards with all the measurements and supplies. We are going to start with a piece of Balmy Blue cardstock, and this is 8.5 by 5.5. It's scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to bring in my bone folder and just burnish that good, so to break down those fibers so it lays nice and flat. Okay, and then the first thing we're going to do is bring in a piece of our Peach Designer Series paper, and this is 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm using my Stampin' Seal adhesive. If you ever use this and you have trouble getting it to start, you just bring in the silicone mat and rub your tape on it. It will start it right away. Or you can just take your finger and get it going again also. But I love this adhesive. It's very strong. It's even, like I found that if I put something down and I want to move it around, I can lift it up fairly easy to do that. So the first thing we're going to do is put that on. The next thing, I'm using a piece of that same Designer Series paper. I think this is 1 1/4 by 5 1/2. But again, that will be down in the directions. And so I'm going to take my adhesive and just go along it like this. These are great cards to make, easy, fast making cards for general occasions that we usually need a card for. Birthday, thinking of you, thank you. You get the idea. And that needs to go over just a little bit. Here, this way. I'll pull it that way a little bit. All right, so I have the sentiment, and I'm also using today the scalloped contour dies. And if you have not seen these dies, let me show them to you. Put them over on my other desk. These are really beautiful. These came out new this year. There's beautiful frames in here. And there's a coordinating stamp set that is floral that these go with also. And this is probably my favorite, this scalloped die. And we're going to do a card with that on there. All right, so I've already pre-cut, die cut my sentiment that I'm going to use. And I'm going to bring in my stamp apparatus. And sometimes if you stamp a large stamp, it may not stamp, may not get all of that image stamped right the first time. And with this tool, the stamp apparatus, you can go right back in there and you can re-stamp it because this holds it in the same position that you originally did your stamping in. So it's a wonderful tool to have. All right, so this is the thought of you sentiment. And we're gonna put it this way and center it on there. That looks about right. And I'm gonna close this down. And these are really strong magnets. So, oh, you can see that I have a little ink on there from before, and I'm using Calypso Coral. I'm gonna press this down. Okay, that looks pretty good. This might be a little faint here, so I'm gonna just ink that again, and I'm gonna go back over that. It's wonderful because, especially if you're doing like mini cards, several cards, it's just a wonderful tool. It saves a lot of time. The magnets you want to be careful with, they're really strong. And also if you have a pacemaker, you're supposed to be probably not use this. In fact, I know not use this because of the strength of the magnets. All right, so we have our little sentiment stamped. And I am going to, I want this to be like the edge of this to come along the designer series paper here. So I'm going to use dimensionals on the back of it. Dimensionals are foam adhesive that raise up the cardstock or whatever you use on them. And it does give it added dimension and it makes it pop, gives it a nicer appearance. It's more eye-catching. And as you can see, I'm using quite a few on this. We do have adhesive sheets of foam, and I do like to use that too. It makes it really easy because you just cut the shape. This would be a rectangle, whatever size you want. And then you can use it to adhere down your sentiment. I do have mystery stamping on Monday evenings, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time on my Stampin' Notes Facebook page, Verna Mullen. And we have a great time. I'd love to have you join us. It's a lot of fun. If you're not familiar with mystery stamping, how it works is I will post over the weekend the measurements, the cardstock that you're going to need for the card that you're making, and you don't know what it's going to be. And then it's fun to see it come together, and it's really a lot of fun to see how different everyone's card turns out. It's really cool. And then if you comment or share, you are put in a drawing for gems, or I think this week it's going to be designer series paper. And you can see I'm fussy cutting some of a peach out of that beautiful paper. And I'm just going to pop this on the edge of that sentiment piece that I die cut with a scallop contour dies. When you're fussy cutting, you want to try to keep your scissors straight and move your paper. You get a better cut that way. So we're going to put the peach there. And I'm just going to glue him down with a little bit of our liquid glue. I think just right on this. Don't need a lot of this. This is really strong. And then I'm going to come in with a baker's twine to do a little bow. I really love to do bows on my cards. And I usually like to do a double bow, so I will use 2 strands and make the bow with 2 strands like this. Oh, come on, I lost my loop there. We'll start again here. 1, 2. I'm going to pull this, so I don't want it quite that big. Just a little bit smaller. I'm going to cut the tails, and I'm going to put that on there with a glue dot. So this one is pre-recorded. I hope to do a featured stamp of the week every Wednesday. And because of my schedule this week, I had to pre-record it, but I would most of the time probably be doing them live. Okay, so we've got the card done, and now we're going to put the sentiment on the inside, or the sentiment piece on the inside. And this is going to be just basically blank, so you can write whatever you would like to whomever you're sending it to. This is 5 1/4 by 4, and it's going to fit on the inside here. Like that. Okay, so there's card number 1. Card number 2 is right here, and it's using the Happy Hello. And this is a die cut from, again, the Scallop Contour set. This has a bit of a pattern, quilt-like looking card. And so we'll bring in the pieces for this. First thing we have is a piece of thick, basic white cardstock. I still want to say Whisper White because that was our old name. And this cardstock color, the basic white, is actually more of a true white than the Whisper White. This has a piece of the Designer Series paper, Sweet as a Peach. And this is going to go right on the center of the front. Yes, this Designer Series paper is 15% off right now until August 2nd. Which is a cool deal. And then we're having another celebration, which is really neat. Stampin' Up! Always had one a year in the winter, and this year we're having a fall one also. It's a great time to join. Stampin' Up! Loves hobby crafters. We love hobby crafters. If you don't have to join to go into the business, you can just join to get a discount on all of your own supplies if you love stamping. And you begin with a 20% off discount, and then you can get more as you're in it longer, and if you end up doing the business, you build a team. Okay, so then we're going to call this our quilt border. Now I have a piece here. I think this is 5 by 3 3/4. Let me look. Nope, it's 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my trimmer in. I'm going to bring my trimmer in, and I'm going to score this from that end to this end. So I'm putting the very corner in the gutter. This is where the paper cutter cuts. And there are 2 little knobs on this. This dark one at the top is the cutter right here. So I'm going to cut right down through that. This is for scoring. This is a wonderful tool to have if you don't have one, and it's only $25. I'm going to turn this, and I want it to keep it kind of together like that. Just kind of hold it in place, and I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to go cross right over that. Go from this corner down to this corner and cut it. So what I'm going to do now, I've got these pieces like this. I'm going to turn 2 of them, either these 2 or these 2. So I think I'll turn these 2. We'll make this different than the other card. And this is how we're going to center them on the card. So as you can see on this card, I had the green on the sides and the pattern at the top and bottom. All right. So we'll bring this in. And I'm just going to lay these pieces on here about where I want them. This is going to go there. This is gonna go here like that. Move the trimmer out. So as you can see, these cards are fairly easy to make. Let's see how far down we want them, where we want that to start. Because I want the same width here as I do up here, and that looks about right. So for these, I'm going to use the liquid glue because it'll get into those corners better. And you just need a very light amount of this. I'm going to go right around like that. And this looks about, this needs to go over just a little bit. Okay, there's that one. And then I'm going to put this on so it meets that tip in the middle. This is called my Farm Fresh series. I live on a farm, and the card featured during the week is Farm Fresh series. It's because it's a new idea. I'm bringing it to you. Okay, and this is gonna fit in there just like that. I wanna see if this one fits better. Yep, I think so. So you're going to switch to the other pattern for the two sides. You're going to push that right up against those. And now we're going to do this one. And push that right up against there, like that. Whoops. Okay. So now I'm going to bring in my tag that I'm going to use for this. And this is another tag from the Scallop Contours. This tag, you could use ribbon. See how it's die cut on the ends like that? And I want to stamp a happy hello, so I'm going to use the Stamparatus again. As you can see, there's a lot of space here. There would be a lot of possibility of not getting that inked up in one stamp, so I'm going to use the Stamparatus. And you want to put your tag like someplace where you know there's a marking, so I know it's between this first square, the end of this first square, and this square over here. All right, I'm going to add my magnet. And the tape on the magnets is to pull them up. It makes it so much easier to handle them, to be able to pull them up. Link it up with the Granny Apple Green. Okay, I'd like that a little darker. And there we go, a happy hello. And that's what, these are so strong, you want to be careful because they'll break if they clank together too much. All right, so let's pop that on there. And again, I'm using dimensionals. Oh, and I've got some little bits of ink on there, so I'm going to cover those with little gems. Before I do that, I'm going to use a ribbon. I love to put ribbon on mine. I'm going to use pale papaya. I'm just going to make a bow. Bring in my glue dots. I'm going to put that right there like that. Trim the tails. Okay, now a couple of gems. And again, I'm using the Genial Gems. I think I'll use the, maybe I'll use these. These are supposed to be pale papaya. Yeah, those are pretty. Put one there and then one down at the bottom here. Hello to you. A happy hello to you. And then on the inside, I have a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 basic white. And I've added a 3/4 inch strip of designer series paper on the left there. And this will be a note card, so we don't want to, you could stamp some flowers or peaches in there, would be pretty. There, and that's card number 2, a happy hello. For our third card, we're using crumb cake. And this is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Again, we're going to use the bone folder and give this a good press down. Give it a good burnish. I have a piece of balmy blue, and this is going to go over the front. This is going to be a matte layer. Whoops. We did not want to do that. So with this Stampin' seal, you want to do just little motions of putting down the seal, and when you come to the end, you want to lift up like this, and if you do that, your tape will be ready to start. And as I said, if it doesn't start, if you roll it on this silicone mat, it will start it for you. Next, I have a piece of the Peach Designer Series paper, and this is 3 3/4 by 5, and we're gonna put it down so it's like 1/4 inch above the bottom of the balmy blue. I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was out of picture there. So we're gonna put it down 1/4 inch above that. And you want the sides even also. And next I have a piece of the Peach Designer Series paper, and I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So I'm going to use the scallop die from the Scallop Contours dies, and which is this one right here. And when you're laying it on the paper, what you want to do is you want to have it so you're going to go about a ½ an inch up from the bottom, or you could even go 3/4 of an inch. Okay. You want to have it so you can see your corners here, or where the scallop goes up. You want those centered, your paper centered, so it's evenly on one here and one here. If you didn't do that, it would be fine. It just looks nicer, I think, to do that. All right, so I'm going to get it on there the way I want it. And I'm going to put a piece of Post-it note over that, which is about there. I'm going to bring that Post-it note in to hold it in place. And then I'm going to run it through my machine. Let's see what we have here. So I don't know if you can see how there's a nice stitched pattern there at the bottom. It's really pretty. All right, so this is going to go on here like this. And we need some, well, I guess I'll use this. All right, so I'm on it down this far from the top. And it's got to come over that edge a little bit. Nope, it's crooked. There, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to add, this tag is, I'm going to add a tag, and this is stamped with, or this is die cut with the Stitch So Sweetly dies, which are these right here, and I'm using this large one right here. I've already die cut that, so I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus again, and I'm using Early Espresso ink. Move this out of the way. I'm going to put this on so that it's centered right about there. And I'm using the Birthday Sentiment. This says, hoping your birthday, I can't read it on there. Hoping your birthday is filled with all the best things is what it says. So it goes about like that, I hope. If not, I'll end up restamping it. I love stamping. It is my creative time. It's relaxing. If I'm stressed, it just helps relieve some of that stress, and I really get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Okay. There we go. Hoping your birthday is filled with all the best things. And again, we're going to pop this up with dimensionals. If you enjoy this, I'd love a thumbs up. If you watch it on my YouTube channel, it helps me and always appreciate that. And then if you hit the subscribe button, you will be notified when I upload my next video tutorial. Okay, so this is going to go about here. Let's come over just a tad, like about like that, I think. Hoping your birthday is filled with all the best things. And I have a piece of the crinkle white ribbon. I'm going to add a bow on the left side. This ribbon's fun because you can color it. If you wanted a different color like blue or the Calypso Coral, you just take your Stampin' Blends marker and lay it down and color it and give it a little bit of time to dry. And glue dots. Whoops, I don't want it that way. Let's turn it. There, and then a few gems. And I think I'll use the green. These are supposed to be the new soft succulent color. Use one here. And one up here. All right. Oh, we forgot the inside. And the inside, I'm going to use this Peach, a couple stamps from the Peach set. I'm going to use this leafy one here, and then these peaches fit right inside that. And it's all one, they're both all one big stamp, which is really cool. So I'm going to use Old Olive for this. Old Olive is a little bit darker than the Granny Apple Green. I'm going to put it this way. And this is a photopolymer stamp. It does stamp better if you have a cushion under it, and I usually use my Stampin' Pierce mat, and I don't have that out here at the moment, so I'm not going to worry about it. And then we're going to add the little peaches or oranges. I'm not exactly sure which these are, and I'm going to use Calypso Coral for that. All right, so there's a little notch here where you can line it up. Oh, I'm sorry, that was down. There's a little notch here where you can line that up with a stem at the top of each of those. So it would be here, right there, I think about right like that. It's hard for me to see with the, not getting my head under the camera. Okay, so that one should have been up a little bit, but I will take a marker and just draw that down there a little bit. This is Mossy Meadow, which might be a little darker, but let's see. Yeah. Okay. So this is going to go on the inside. We are plugged up. There we go. So that's 3 easy cards with that sentiment stamp set. So that's what the inside looks like there. And that's the front. Hoping your birthday is filled with all the best things. I'll probably take a glue dot and just put it under up here so it holds it over. But isn't that pretty? So I'll put out the cards here so you can see them again. We have a happy hello and thought you could use some sunny thoughts. And easy to do and simple and so nice to be able to have to send to friends, just to let them know you're thinking of them. And let me put them up here a little bit better so you can see them better. So thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Take care.